You're watching Virginia This Morning.
Hey, welcome back to Virginia This Morning. April, if you didn't know, is National Foot Health Awareness Month. With warmer weather coming, there comes a change in footwear, and so many people are getting outdoors, as they should. Dr. Mitchell Waskin joins us this morning with some tips to help keep your feet healthy during spring and summer, and really throughout the entire year. And we welcome him back to Virginia This Morning. Doctor, it's great to see you, my friend. Hey, thanks for coming in. Doc, a lot of people, they're concerned with head colds and maybe their sinuses and allergies, but maybe it's something below the ankles we don't really pay much attention to.
We really don't pay a whole lot of attention to it yet. When you look at the numbers, it's amazing. 80% of people in their lifetime end up having a foot problem, and 50% of people have foot problems that actually interferes with their ability to work, to do exercising, and even oftentimes just walking causes some of those problems. So you would think we'd pay more attention to a lot of these foot problems. And a lot of these problems are relatively simple to take care of.
Doctor, what are some of the most popular, if you will, the problems that we're facing? You said 80% of people.
I oftentimes divide foot problems into three categories: traumatic, medical, and functional. Traumatic's easy. A bus runs over your foot, you know what the problem is.
That's traumatic.
Medical problem, diabetes, poor circulation that can affect the foot. But the great majority of the problems that we see are actually in this functional category. Things like bunions, which is the kind of a bump on a big toe joint that occurs, or hammer toes, where your toes bend up. You hear about heel spurs or pinched nerves in your foot. All of these things are due to improper functioning of your foot and are oftentimes easily fixed. Sometimes it's surgical, but oftentimes it's doing something like a simple shoe insert.
Doctor, a lot of these problems that we experience, 80% of the population at some point during their life having a foot problem, are they preventable?
Oftentimes they are. If a lot of these problems are actually inherited. One more thing you can blame on mom and dad. So you inherit this gene that gives you a greater chance of getting a bunion or a hammer toe or a heel spur. Well, if we know that a parent or grandparent had some of these problems, we could look at a child, look at their foot, and almost predict if they have a great chance of getting these problems, and then do something to prevent it so they don't get them.
All right, how about now that the warmer temps are here, you heard Nikki D talk about it, approaching 80 degrees, a lot of people wearing flip-flops. When is the best time to wear flip-flops? Because it's really popular for both men and women these days.
Well, technically, things you read, they would say you shouldn't wear flip-flops because they're bad. No, the reality of the situation is people want to wear flip-flops, they're going to. But if you are going to wear a flip-flop, now they're making ones that have arches built into them, which really are not that bad for your feet. So if you're going to wear a flip-flop, get one that has an arch built in. They're pretty easy to find these days.
And talk about when you're, especially around the pool area, why do we need to wear those flip-flops then?
It's good, one, just so you don't injure your foot, and that's especially important if you're someone that has diabetes or maybe poor circulation, where an injury can be fairly devastating. But even beyond that, you want to wear it so to avoid picking up fungal infections or secondary bacterial infections. It's more prevalent if you're walking barefoot.
And some people don't wear flip-flops at all. They walk around barefoot, but that actually exposes us to some issues as well.
It does. Again, increase the chance of having an injury to your foot, increase the chance of picking up fungal or viral infections or even bacterial infections.
And what about sunburn as well?
We all think about getting that lotion on our face and on our body, and then half the time we forget about putting on our feet. You got to get on your feet too, because it's an area that oftentimes gets burnt, and it can lead to all the same problems, skin cancers, as other parts of your body.
Doc, it is so painful when you burn the tops of those feet. That's for sure.
Is.
You can't put anything on. How about getting the right shoe to fit really throughout the year?
It's important. You and I, before this program, we're just talking about where people's feet flatten out excessively, pronate excessively, and some of the problems that can have. It can interfere with your knees, with your hips, lower back problems. We're talking about a story that I had a long-distance runner who came in for a pinched nerve problem, and during the history, she was telling me about the shoulder problem she had that no one could figure out what the problem was. To make a long story short, we made her custom shoe inserts for the nerve problem, and her shoulder problem went away. The point being, especially people that stress their musculoskeletal system a lot, that an improper functioning foot can have effects all the way up the body.
How about any lingering problems? That's something I would imagine that you would say, don't wait for it to go away, maybe get it checked out.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't get feet checked out soon because people are under the impression that it's normal for your feet to hurt. It's really not normal for your feet to hurt. So if you have a problem and it lasts a day, a couple of days, it just doesn't seem to be going away on its own, you ought to go and see your area podiatrist, get it checked out.
Doctor, it's always a pleasure.
Good to see you,
Have
Greg.
a great summer. Thank you so much.